What's up, YouTube? It's artisanmc on a late one, trying to get my headphones right. 1 second. This thing not connected. Because it shut off. That's why. So it's a late nighter. I'm doing some work. It's not work that they're paying me for. It's work that I wanted to do. I had some thoughts going through my mind that I thought would make interesting sharing. So I decided to go ahead and share them with you. As soon as these fucking earphones get connected. God damn, dude. I tell you guys, a minute ago I couldn't get these damn things to shut off. And they finally shut off. Now I can't get them to fucking ridiculous. Come on, god damn it. What in the ever loving fuck? All right, I think that actually worked. Stupid shit. Stupid shit, stupid shit, stupid shit. All right, and there you go. That should be it. All right, so if you can hear me before I start this shit, the one person that's in here, hit a one, so I know that you can actually hear me clearly. Before I get into doing my spiel and deal, just a little one. Just a little one. It helps. Five minutes of bullshit. As far as I know, if you can hear me, press one. So I know that these earbuds are connected, and I'm not just talking out loud. Yeah? What the fuck? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Aquatech. All right. So what am I on about right now? Or why am I on this list? As you guys know, I work on calls. And I've been doing this for a little while. I do it mostly to help myself out, do some work, right? And in that time, I get some peace for myself. Get to be alone, do my work, not worry about shit too much. Probably should have turned it the other way, then I can actually see you guys. Anyway, what am I thinking about today? I was on a stream a while ago with Dr. Tia. It was about the brother Twitch self-deleting and fatherhood. And one of the concepts that came up while we were having that whole conversation about fatherhood is about John Henry's. And Dr. T put it up on the screen and showed the definition of John Henryism, which a lot of us might actually know, but we don't think about it in that way, right? And it still had me thinking after the show, because a couple of things came out of that conversation. Being, some people who basically work themselves to death or whatnot. And one of the brothers that was there, no shade against him, he was speaking his piece, right? He mentioned something about KS and how he may have worked himself to death, and kind of got on a tangent about how brothers shouldn't work themselves to death. But I thought it was a little off. So I want to share my piece and how I see it. Whereas I see John Henryism as a problem with black men because we overwork ourselves. Like now, here I am at about midnight California time, off the clock doing some work because I just want to do it, right? And I can't sleep because I'm not an addled mind, put it that way. I usually have a lot of things going on in my head, and if I have peace to work, I work them out. And one of the main things is why I work this hard, this long. And I was thinking of it and thinking that black men work as hard as they do for one simple reason. It's not that we want to work ourselves. It's not just because, society will say that black men ain't about shit, they lazy and everything else. And we want to combat that. It's not even about that either. I'd say, in a simple sense, black men work as hard as they do because they're trying to be respected as men. That removed of money and status and all the rest of that shit. The only way this world wants to recognize you as being a man is if you can go and put in your work at whatever you do. And so I think, whereas John Henryism could be seen as, hey, you're just working yourself to death to try to beat something that will inevitably take your life and have you blowing your heart out. So you should do the opposite. Don't work yourself too much. John Henry didn't die trying to prove to me. I don't think he died because he worked himself to death. His heart was in what he was doing, in a sense. He was proving his value. And I think that's why black men do end up working so damn hard. Always trying to prove our value. Always trying to prove our worth just to be recognized as other men are recognized. That's why we're always above and beyond. You know, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times better. Because even at the end of the day, when we do all of that shit, there is still somebody, if it's not in our family, there's still somebody who wants to shit on us for being exactly what we are. And I think that's the part that gets us. Don't tell me I broke the damn thing doing that. I didn't break that doing that. Are you kidding me? Motherfucker. Oh, got to be kidding. I tell you, I've been having a fucked up time with this stuff. That's the button. It's not up. So, for me, I don't think KS died because he was working too much. He might have been working a lot, but you have to realize his time to shine and actually have an influence on people came later in life. He had to go that hard to have an impact. It's not like it happened for him when he was 12. It's not like it happened for him when he was 20. It happened for him in his 40s. And to make the most of that time that he had, he would have had to go hard, as we call it. Make hay while you have it, while the sun is up. So I don't look at him and see somebody who did something wrong and working as hard as he was working. He was doing what he wanted to do and what his calling was. That is not a mistake to me. The mistake is, as I explained it to my children when my buddy Ron had passed, body just couldn't keep up. His body couldn't do it anymore. It could have been health related, be it Red Bull or some bullshit like that. Yeah, it could have been. Could have been that too. But here's the thing that everybody always shies away from. We are all gonna die. From working out or not working out. from working our ass off or not working our ass off. There will come a time when your ass will expire. And when that time comes, you won't be sitting around thinking about how little you should have worked or what you already did. You'll probably be thinking about all the things you didn't do and didn't get to accomplish. Well, I could say for a certainty, while he may not have done everything he wanted to, KS did a lot more in his last couple of years than a lot of motherfuckers ever do, period. And he wasn't going to stop because it was time to sleep or because he was worried about maybe I shouldn't work so hard. He had to go hard. It was his time. It was his time to shine. He had to step up to the plate. Kind of like playing baseball. When it's your time, you get up and do what you have to do. Now, I'm a firm believer in trying to have everything in balance. You work as hard as you need to work while it's time to do your work. And when it's time for you to relax, you relax. You take that time to relax. But I do not believe you should just always be taking it the fuck easy. I don't believe that. Those are the people that don't accomplish shit and don't put anything out there into the world for anybody else to be inspired by because they're too busy sitting their ass around trying to take it easy. Now, you can see it as a curse. You could see it as a benefit. But you have to ask yourself, what are you doing with the time that you are actually awake? What are you accomplishing? What goals have you set and are you working towards? And what do you have to do to see them accomplished? I can tell you this. To get them accomplished, it's not going to be accomplished by your ass not doing shit. Or thinking, well, I'll do it, but let me go ahead and get to this sleep part first. Let me not work hard while the sun is up and get this done. The thing that John Henry has to be tempered with is that you have to know when to stop. Not that you just shouldn't try and just try to take it easy. I don't think that was the message at all. Now, stories all over the place about Brother Twitch killing himself, self-deleting, as we say, to not get in trouble with stating the obvious. What up, BMT? But at the end of the day, it's not stating the obvious helping the fact that the brother killed himself for some fucking reason that doesn't reveal itself readily to anybody. For me, it's fucked up as it sounds, I'm thinking it's relationship related. Because there's only a few things that a quote unquote happily married man with 3 kids and just had his birthday would kill himself over. And that's losing all of it. '40 is too young to have so much ahead of you, to have so much going your way. Executive producer on the show, world renowned, guest spots on the place where you got kind of your start from. All of a sudden, turn around and kill yourself. That makes absolutely no fucking sense in the world, even for somebody suffering from depression, which nobody can say that he was. So if he ain't suffering from depression and have no history of mental illness, why the fuck would he kill himself, leave his home with his wife, not even take his car to a fucking hotel for the weekend, and have people finding him dead in the hotel by Monday? To me, that should sound like a fight between husband and wife. And the motherfucker realizing that the shit is over. Now, I'm not casting aspersions. I'm just saying what it looks like, what it sounds like to me. Sound like a marital dispute. Mind you, this is the same shit we just heard from JDF. Seemingly somebody got everything going his way that he wants. All of a sudden decided to self-delete after one argument with his woman or his ex-woman. Too close, too soon. I don't like coincidences. So I'm waiting for the story to actually come out with why this man killed himself. This is the third one in the last 3 weeks. The other one was at Disneyland and left a note of why he was doing it. These men all about the same age, yo. Does that mean that Gen Xers all of a sudden just develop a complete weakness for living? I don't fucking think so. One second, y'all. I don't think that's the case. It's disappointing. It's shocking. It makes absolutely no fucking sense in the world. But the problem with me is I try to have things make some kind of sense. There is some sense to be made in some reason. I can tell you from being there in my own life at a time when I wanted to self-delete, or I had that self-deleting ideation. It wasn't because everything was going well, obviously, but it was because my family had imploded. And having a family and having it destroyed was worse. especially since I'm carrying all that responsibility and guilt that I'm trying to be better than my father that wasn't there. I should change the camera. Who said Grinch too short to ride over here? I didn't leave my motherfucking dude alone. Leave Grinch Muad'Dib alone. Grinch good wherever I'm at. I'm honored if he come through. So no, he don't have to. So I feel bad for the brother taking himself out. I don't approve. I can say that much. I don't approve of suicide. I do not. But self-deletion is not a I'm thinking about everybody act necessarily, unless he was about to get a bunch of fucking insurance money. And it doesn't seem like he was hurting for any money. Now, lady friend had told me about, asked me about this dude, and I didn't know about him. Knew nothing about him. And so what I've heard today, because everybody is all of a sudden shocked, surprising for one or two reasons. One reason, I didn't know that many people watch fucking Ellen. The other reason is I was kind of surprised to see who he is married to. Because the news report I saw, the woman was so choked up and talking about his wife and the couple that they were, and all I kept hearing was about such and his wife and such his wife and such his wife, his wife, his wife. I'm like, God damn, who's gone? Him or his wife? For a moment there, I couldn't tell. It was more focused on giving her fucking accolades and who she was than telling me who the hell this guy was. And that bothered me a bit. I don't give a fuck about his wife. Not like that. But I also know men don't commit suicide over nothing. Man, it's not like he a stockbroker and he lost $1 billion fucking dollars. You know, Elon Musk lost $1 billion from a Sunday to a Monday. You see him self-deleting nowhere. Only thing I know dudes kill themselves over is fucking women. Or some allegations that I had your ass put in jail, under the fucking jail. For some shit you probably ain't even did. So, I don't know. I'm having a hard time reconciling this one. It's not making the most sense in the world to me, but I guess it's not supposed to. The other thing that was on my mind was the young brother Truth that came through Dr. Tia saying. Truth is near me. He's in SAC. And I hadn't seen the brother for a minute online, so I was kind of glad to see him. It can be irritating because he's a Z and young and got that California ignorance that I don't like, but I could tolerate it a while. And to hear he was going through some stuff and then revealing his molestation when he was 8, which shit ain't but 10 years, 10 years ago. It ain't like it was forever ago. And him not getting any or no counseling or anything like that being available to him. My heart went out to the brother. And I felt bad like I wasn't doing enough. Because my whole thing with going to school for psychology, it was so brothers, black boys, would know there was somebody that they could talk to, somebody who would listen to them, and somebody that gave a shit. Because I know for me, in the things that I've had to deal with, I've always felt that there's nobody there. Up and until I found the Black Manosphere. Because I really did think I was the only one. I'm weird enough as it is being a black geek outside of the rest of the shit that I'm into that not a lot of black folks get into, and always puts me in a position to where I'm the only one wherever I go. And motherfuckers ain't seen me before in the sense that they didn't think black men like me existed. So it's always some funny shit. But hearing the pain in the brother's voice was fucking me up. I may get on Truth's ass, but I get on Truth's ass to try to make him better, not to be worse. And it sounded like he was having a tough go of it right now. Being in SAC, I can understand about it being a time when a lot of people was getting checked out. I'm from California, I'm from the Bay Area, I get that shit. And his plea, which is what it was basically a plea that he needs some help. Was that he's losing his hold. And made me remember something I talk about often with folks about how us as black men are not trained to deal with our emotions. Men in general, not deal with them in the sense that you got to feel them all and embrace them all and be all sensitive and rub your nipples and shit like that. Sit down and have soy burgers and shit. In the sense that you understand what they are and how to manage them and control them, and not let them control you, like in a situation of a self-deletion. You have to be stronger than the moment. You have to live past the moment that you think everything is lost it's all a waste. Nothing will get any better. My life is over. When I hear a 19-year-old dude saying some shit like that, I get upset and sad at the same time because I remember being that age and younger, thinking that way and knowing that's dumb as fuck. You ain't even lived no life yet to be upset about it. There ain't a day that I've had as a grown adult that I couldn't think about some shit that I was saying back in my teens, college, or whatever. It wouldn't trade like, you know what? Today, I'll take that shit. I'll take that 19-year-old problems for today. I really would. I'd rather have that shit than the rest of this grown-up shit that I deal with. What y'all saying? Aqueous technology? I'm sorry, somebody's comment was highlighted on there. Let's see what I'm doing if it's up higher. So, things get better. Man. I don't like hearing brothers talking like that. I've had close female friends who talked about this shit. I got into a whole argument with one of my female friends about that shit, about self-deletion and stuff like that, and how I shouldn't talk about it. And I told her since I've dealt with it, it's bullshit. Somebody will always care. Just had this conversation on Saturday night, lady, about talking about Christmas movies and shit, right? And why I would still, you know, like It's a Wonderful Life, because it still tells you about your life is valuable and how your life impacts other people. So in essence, you're never alone. Never. The truth was not realizing when he said that shit. That he didn't have anybody, he didn't have no help. And I'm sitting there listening to his ass online in a room full, I don't know how many hundreds of other brothers. And he's still saying this shit that he thinks he's alone and has no one to talk to. And I'm sitting there thinking, the asshole part of me is thinking, like, nigga, you online right now. What are you talking about? You're online right now talking to a bunch of brothers who know you. Quit it. That's self-defeating shit. But I empathize with him because I know I've been there before. Long ago, not long ago, and will be there again in the future. Thinking that the world rests on my shoulders. What you have to fucking realize is that it doesn't. The reason you feel overwhelmed and like nothing will change is because you're not making any goddamn changes. You have to be the change you're looking for. Don't look for the savior. Save yourself in more than one way with bitches. When people say be the change you're looking for, well, that shit, do that. Because to me, not to get all metaphysical on you, when you talked about the young boy coming to him and wanting, looking for guidance because the young boy had been molested, he's too young to understand that that is fate, life, God, whatever the fuck you want to believe in, throwing that person at him to help him deal with the problems that he's dealing. Same problems, different people. Now you need to figure out a way to do it. Now you have to figure out a way to make that shit work. And that's what life does. Life will constantly throw shit at you like that to make you deal with the stuff that you don't. And in some ways, it's a good thing. Because hopefully, if you're smart, you figure out the answers that you need. Fuck who didn't give them to you. Maybe they didn't know to give it to you. Maybe they were dealing with it themselves. Because I can tell you this much. In my 49 years of living, when it comes down to people being molested and shit like that, my opinion now is everybody was. Everybody was. Everybody deals with it or doesn't deal with it in their own fucking way. But it always affects them. So since motherfuckers couldn't really at one time talk about wearing a goddamn condom, it's not that hard to believe that people can't talk about, look, something happened to my child from my negligence or my utter lack of giving a fuck about it. So don't think they're going to all of a sudden become the best people in the world because something happened to you. People in general run from shit like that. And it's mostly because it probably happened to them too. And they ain't figured out the fucking answer. The answer is get some fucking help. And don't let it consume you. Don't let that be how you define yourself. It's something that happened to you. But it doesn't have to be the definition of you. A lot of life is about fighting against the rest of the bullshit that you're dealing with. Not just about thinking somebody else should change it for you. That shit don't look too bad. Now, there's a story behind why this table looks this way. Yeah, if you ain't catching nails, you ain't living. That's right, Aquateki. Look, I find truisms everywhere, right, in life. I try to find truisms everywhere. One of the truisms I heard in life was about, came out of a movie. It did. But writers are tapped into, um, writers are tapped into the fact that, trying to make sure I ain't got nothing incriminating behind me. Got to protect the company. Writers are tapped into the creative space, right? And at least in my belief, the creative space is where God, whatever deities or whatnot you want to believe in, hang out, right? And they send you ideas. So you can get some good ideas from writing, right? Just some creative ideas. One of which came out is that, well, point being, all over the place on that. Point being is, whoever you want to believe in, Thomas Edison or whatever, made a light bulb. right? But he failed a number of times in making that light bulb work once. And what's more important, the number of times he failed or the times that he succeeded? It would seem like it would be the time that he succeeded. Failure, the L's, you got to catch L's. If you're not catching any L's, you ain't in the game. You ain't playing. Better hope you catch some so you can figure out what you're doing wrong. Because if you ain't catching no L's, you ain't learning. Plain and simple. If you're not making mistakes, you aren't learning shit. But everybody nowadays wants nothing not to fail at anything. And I see it in my children, at least in my daughter, just like I see it in Truth. She failed something one time. She's thinking it's over. Why? It's nothing I poured into her. That's just how that generation is. The generation doesn't know when things don't work the first time, they are traumatized all of a sudden. They'll get into a whole fucking feedback loop on that shit. And that's not how things work. You're gonna fuck up. I fuck up. Even today, look, I had a whole conversation with an asshole today. And at least one thing I said was fucked up because I called him a petulant child. And I shouldn't have did that corporate wise. But he was acting like a petulant child. That was a fuck up. You know what I'm gonna do though? Take that shit. So fucking what? It is what it is. Why? Because it's true. As long as I'm standing in the right, I don't feel I have to apologize about shit. It was accurate assessment of his behavior and the shit that he was doing to me. So fuck him if you don't like the word petulant child. Grow up. I'm gonna put something else in the center of this table. I just have to figure out what design I want it to. Thought about a Sith symbol. Like if I put right here, put a Sith symbol, the black sun with the rays shooting off of it. I thought that'd be fucking awesome. Thought it'd be awesome. This should give folks something to be surprised about when they come in tomorrow. They're gonna look like, what the fuck was he doing? Brain mouth filter was temporarily disabled. No, it wasn't actually. It was the learn how to speak corporatese. Because I tell you this, I'm gonna have to go back in the other one. Being on Dr. T's stream today and listening to what he was talking about was kind of ironic because I was dealing with the same shit today. So he was talking about the John Henryism and the stress that black men have to go through and how it takes an effect on their body and their physical and mental health. I was dealing with a motherfucker today who's trying to create a whole movement around himself of hating me, trying to get everybody on board with isolating me with that nobody likes you shit. Why? Because he's a jealous bitch. And I confronted him on being a sketchy, jealous bitch and doing some hoe shit, which involved a call to HR because he didn't like my tone and telling him to clean up after himself. And I'm not one to let shit be walking on eggshells and bite my tongue around motherfuckers. So in a controlled way, with my supervisor there. I told him what he ain't gonna keep doing. And the only thing that kind of got squishy was me calling him a petulant child. So fucking what? I could have said worse than that. So it wasn't necessarily the filter. It wasn't disabled. It was there. I just didn't give a fuck at that moment. That's basically what it was. I could take you to be 100 with you. I didn't give a fuck at that moment. It was antagonizing, but yeah, that's exactly what the fuck it was supposed to be. What the fuck are you gonna do? Swing on me? Well, fuck yourself. I don't like dealing with childish shit when I'm supposed to be dealing with another grown man supposed to be as old as me. Yeah, he's suspect as fuck, Aquateki. Motherfucker told me he wanted me out of his life. And I'm looking at this nigga like, we ain't dating. What the fuck is you talking about? We ain't fucking. Whatever. And I told him, whatever you got going on in your head to say some shit like that, you need to go talk to somebody about. And referring that he should talk to somebody, but not telling him to get a fucking therapist is how you have to talk in corporatese. So you don't point at exactly what the fuck it is. Bullshit. If this was a construction site, we could have just threw hands and called it a day. Got right outside the job site and just let it rock. Fuck you gotta say now. That dumb shit. What up, Dr. T? What you still doing up? Polishing your axe? I'm in here doing some handicrafts because your stream had me with some extra shit on my mind. And I was still thinking about it. Still up. So I was in here working on my workbench. And I'll tell you a little story about why this workbench looks like this. Right? Just a little story. And I have a couple of people that I work with that listen to this channel. They sub to the channel. I don't know if they listen to it or not. Maybe they do. I don't fucking matter. But I got here about a little over a year and a half. And when I got here, there was that one workbench here, right? And in passing conversation, my supervisor mentioned that he would like another one here. So what did I do? I'm a carpenter. I build. I don't have a problem building shit. So I took my lunch break, found the material I needed, and I built this bench identical to one over there. Nobody helped me. Everybody walked by and looked at it. Nobody helped and do shit, right? Which is fine. That's how I work. I don't give a shit. I do it because I sense a need there. I don't need you to help me do it. I know how to do this. Everybody had something to say, but nobody helped. Now, after it was built, everybody was, oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. This one motherfucker keep trying to find a way to fuck it up. He drilled holes in it. He started spilling paint all over it. He started painting shit right on top of the surface. And this has gone on for a while, months. Finally said something to him about it a couple weeks ago. Because this good goofy ass kept piling a bunch of shit up on it to where it was not accessible for anybody to use if you came in with it, with stuff to put on it. And I kept moving the shit. So he spilled some stain, right? Some wood stain all over the place, all over the floor, in front of this seat that I'm sitting on right now that I keep under this table. He had spilled paint stain all over the place. And it's still on the floor, slippery as shit. And I call this motherfucker man child because this is how he acts, an entitled fucking child. Just leave shit everywhere. So I told him, I asked him, since I almost slipped in this fucking stain all over the concrete floor. Yeah, D Scott, it is some hating ass shit. Some hella disrespectful ass shit. You'll watch somebody build this whole thing, spend a couple hours of their time to build it. And the only thing you can do after the fact is try to fuck it up. That's intentional, nigga. That's intentional. I don't play. Look, man. I wish I was a dumber nigga sometimes. I really do. Sometimes I wish I was a dumber motherfucker. Because a lot of that shit would pass me by. I wouldn't know about psychological motivation, ticks, none of that shit. I wouldn't know any of that stuff at all to understand when people pulling shit like that. I'd be totally oblivious to it. But I'm not. So finally, after he's painted a couple of things on it, and mind you, the motherfucker don't put nothing down on the bare wood. He just gonna lay his shit on top of it and paint it and the deck of the workbench. Well, that's annoying as fuck. And after the third time of doing that shit, and after he spilled this stain all over the place over here, I asked him, can you put something down the next time you paint on that bench? He said, okay. What do you think that motherfucker went and did? Called HR and my regional manager to complain about my tone and said I yelled at him. I'm 5'11", 200 and something pounds, broad shouldered. I ain't got to yell at nobody to say shit. And I'm the only brother here. I don't have to yell at nobody. I don't. It's not necessary. Because that's an imitation of strength to me. That's not real strength. You know, real bosses and real people you should be afraid of never raise their voice at all. They don't. You know why? They ain't worried about your ass. All that loud barking don't mean shit to them. Yeah, Uncle Tech, you're trifling as fuck. And yes, D Scott, blatant disrespect. I would never disrespect another man's work like that. I wouldn't. And because some of the other people I work with was trying to be on board with him and kicking the legs out of from under shit, and I told them to their face that that was some disrespectful shit, and people who can't build love destroying other people's stuff. Somebody got in their feelings. Now, what you understand that is that apparently a black man ain't supposed to speak up for himself, his work, have anything to say to anybody when they're doing something wrong. Yes. And D. Scott, I'm going to highlight your comment for this reason specifically. This is why I confronted his ass today with my supervisor there. And this is what I told my supervisor when he had to pull me aside and let me know I got a complaint from this person about this day 2 fucking weeks ago. I don't like motherfuckers that throw rocks and hide their hands. I'm a pretty upfront person. And what I told him in front of everybody in this motherfucker is if you got something to say to me, say it to my face. Don't be running behind calling HR, regional manager, none of that bitch shit. Because that's some chick shit. For real. That is some whole shit. My mother worked for over 30 years in a phone company with a bunch of women. The fuck kind of stories you think she was telling me about? Shit like this. She said something to me I didn't like. I was a supervisor for a number of years. What kind of fucking shit do you think I was listening to? I don't like that bitch. She keep looking at me. Looking at you? Man, if you don't get your ass back out there and go to work, are you fucking kidding me? How old are you? He just walked by and he just blew his breath in the air. So fucking what? That shit is beneath me. And that's what I told him in front of my supervisor. This shit is childish and beneath me. Leave me the fuck alone. Don't talk to me. I ain't talking to you. I don't need to work with you. You don't need to work with me. And this motherfucker in his feelings, talking about what he feel and what his mood is and how he want me out of his life. I was like, you just want the nigga gone from the job. What? Because we ain't got no life together, nigga. This ain't no life. This is just work. I work and I go home. What the fuck is you talking about? Your life? Nigga, I'm not the one calling you at 9 o'clock at night wanting to ramble on and talk shit about everybody else on the job. I don't want to hear that shit. I ain't part of the gossip chain. Get off my fucking phone. Yeah, emoting like a motherfucker. What up, P-Dub? The pragmatic prime in the building? Yeah, Aquatech said, been there, heard that. Yeah. And every time you hear it, Aquatech, don't it sound like some hoe shit? That sound like some straight up bitch shit. To me, it's little kid shit. I'm like, wait a minute. This is the second complaint by the same motherfucker in a year and a half. And this one is about my tone. What we talk about all the time in this space about how women try to check men. Oh, their tone sounded threatening. Nigga, you know what this motherfucker's first complaint against me was that he could find? For a fucking joke. He was offended by the joke. You know what joke it was? Come closer. I'll tell you what the joke was. This is how offensive the joke was. We all clocking out for a Friday. He wanted to be rude and be the first one to clock out and made the statement that, come on, I gotta go because I got things to do this weekend. You know what I said? Oh, is that what we call it now? What's her name? He called HR on me for that shit. And my regional manager to have me have a talking to with me because he was offended by that joke. The first thing I heard when I got to get called in the office about that shit, about stay away from him, I was like, oh shit, he mad about that? I didn't think he sucked dick. Aquateki, I can neither confirm nor deny, but behavior is a motherfucker. And behavioral psych is my forte. I'm just saying. They say walk like a duck, quack like a duck, squawk like a bitch. Maybe you're bleeding. I don't know. Yeah, but that shit today, I want you out of my life. Nigga, I'm not even thinking about you. Maybe that's the problem. Had that whole conversation this weekend about how your haters is your most devoted fans. They hate you because they can't be you and they can't replace you. So they find anything else they can do to fuck with you. And when you put them on the spot and tell them, what is your fucking problem with me? What is your problem with me? What did I do to you? First thing out that motherfucker's mouth is about somebody else shit. Well, you said something to so-and-so. The fuck they got to do with you? And do you know if that's true or not? Were you there to hear it? So your problem with me is somebody else's problem with me? If you don't get a life, which is what I told him to do. I told him, I'm a grown man with 2 grown children and a grandchild. I don't have time to be doing kid shit. It's beneath me. And why you think he was all in his feelings, not wanting to talk? I'm not in the mood to talk to you today. I don't give a fuck. This ain't a mood thing. This ain't a feelings thing. You got your feelings involved? Goofy ass. This is why I have my Tyranny of Lesser Men series. This is why. Shit like this. So, to finish out the story, since he did all that shit, kept putting paint all over it, and I asked him to put something down the next time he painted on there, because I'm the one that have to go back and sand it. That same day, after I was off of lunch and I had time, I came back here and sanded this whole fucking bench down and removed all that paint and stain. Here's where the real bitch shit start. I sanded all that shit off of it. Didn't say anything to anybody. My own sander, all that. I spent about an hour and a half sanding this whole thing down and taking all that paint and stain he painted on there off. Reduced it back to raw wood. And then you know what I did today? Because that was a week ago. What I did today? I primed it. I put primer on it. Why? Because some motherfucker kept leaving a bucket of water up on top of this shit. I'm like, this is not coated for water. They trying to ruin this shit again. A week later. So I kept taking the bucket off of there, and then I primed it and put a tag on it that said wet. You know what bitch shit happened after that? The motherfucker went in the office and complained that I painted it. What? Now, mind you, I didn't say shit to him when I sanded it. I didn't have to say shit to anybody. I just sanded it. And today, I primed it. This motherfucker in his feelings because I sanded it. He's in his feelings because I primed it. So much so, he runs to the supervisor's office to tell him, like, you need to get this nigga. He got mad at me for painting on it, and he painted it. You out of your fucking mind? Are you out of my fucking mind? This is the shit I'm dealing with. That's what his complaint was. That I painted something. I told him to put something down on and paint. What? Nigga, you ain't got nothing else to do? So, I told my lady that I wasn't sure what I was going to do to this because I didn't want the motherfucker to paint on it again. And I thought about maybe I'll just leave it bare. So if he paints on it again, which would be antagonizing because I already asked him to put something down if he's going to do it, that I would be pissed off and I would just have to sand it all over again. Well, I don't feel like sanding this shit all over again. So I painted it because to me, thinking psychologically, it would be more of a deterrent for you to put something down on here and paint over it if the deck is already painted. You feel some kind of way, right? It's a psychological thing. You see a painted surface, you don't think, oh, I'm a stain this piece of wood. Let me throw it right down on top of here and just start shellacking this shit all over the place. You think about it a minute longer. No, this motherfucker got in his feelings because I did it. Now, mind you, it ain't his material. He didn't build the motherfucker. He didn't sand it. I didn't ask him to sand it to take the shit that he did off of it. And it ain't his painting. He ain't painting it. It's my fucking primer. What the fuck does he have to be upset about? The fact that I can do it. That's what he has a problem. He don't like my attitude. What attitude? Come in here and do my job and go home? Not being involved in no bullshit? What attitude do you have to like? I'm tired of your shit. What shit? I ain't even talking to you, nigga. I don't even deal with you. What you tired of? You need my attention? I don't get down like that. Y'all know I'm a staunch lesbian, nigga. Staunch. Yeah, Aquateki. You thinking like me? Like, yeah, hit it with that polyurethane, nigga. Now what? No, this what I got right here ain't even done. You know what the next part is? The idea that the supervisor gave me that I wasn't even thinking about. I'm gonna inset a tape measure in this bitch because I got a router and I don't know how to do that shit. I'm gonna route out the channel and I'm gonna put the tape measure in there so when you put a piece of wood down on this bitch, you can measure it. And yes, a clear coat would be awesome. But I think we have either some pieces of plexiglass or some vinyl or something like that that I'm gonna put over the top of this motherfucker just to keep it spicy, nigga. Leave me the fuck alone. Yeah, exactly. Pragmatic. His way to interact with me. That's what I'm like. This motherfucker must got some tendencies that I am not returning. No, nigga, that is not me. And that's his thing. He has an issue because I don't interact with him. I don't interact with anybody else. I talk to the other techs. I'll help the other techs. But I work by myself. I don't need to be in a fucking group to do my job. I do all of my work myself. Refrigerators, stoves and shit, washing machines, I'll do it myself. I don't ask them for help. But you know how white folks get. And he ain't white. He a dark Italian who would get pissed off if you called him black. The motherfucker dark as me. He got some issues. And I told him I ain't interested in it. And I'm not gonna be a part of it. Yeah, the inlaid tape measure would be dope. Yeah. As I told my supervisor, he told me what the damn piece of tape measure was sitting up there for. I said, I was wondering what this shit was for. I was about to throw it away today. You lucky you said something. But that's a good ass idea. Yeah. Yeah, I can do that shit. Hell yeah, I want to do it now because I like a challenge, nigga. I don't do this shit just because it's easy. I do it because I want a challenge. That's what makes my dick hard, nigga. Completing a challenge. Challenge accepted. Did I kick his ass? Yes. Oh well. Next. This is the tape measure right here, Tam. Now, I gotta flip the camera around so this will actually look at least halfway decent. Front facing. Flip it, bitch. Stop acting goofy. God damn. Goofy acting up. See that shit? That's the tape. And that's where it's gonna go. Right there, inlaid. I'm gonna do that shit tomorrow. Because it's 1 o'clock now and I actually do need to sleep a little bit. I am on my day walker shit. Yeah. You know what the funny part is? I want that motherfucker to be sick. See that shit and be sick. All the shit I did around here, all the motherfucker do is try to fuck it up. This is not the only thing I built. And mind you, everybody think they got some say-so over the motherfucker since I built it. But in the time before I got here, like the years before I got here, nobody built shit. So because I took an hour or so of my time and built something, now everybody acting like I took something from their ass. I painted it, nigga. I built it. So what? The fuck up. I am a carpenter. I build. I mudded walls and built all kind of shit around here. For the shop. Not for me. For the shop, nigga. I ain't taking it with me. But it don't mean you need to go around here trying to fuck it up every time. Baby ass. Yeah, pragmatic. That's the thing too. But some people just want to have something said to them. Look, if you're 50 something years old, and I'm not saying this to anybody in here, so look, if it don't apply, let it fly. Okay? Throwing a stick up in the air. If it ain't, you don't want it to hit you, watch where it fall down and move out the way. Okay? But a 50-year-old motherfucker with no kids, no ex-wife, no current wife, and all he talking about is money and act like a fucking tweaker, you need to get a goddamn life. You spend your time calling the rest of your coworkers in the middle of the goddamn night, you need to find something to do with yourself. You need to find something to do with yourself. He ain't trying to piss me off. He's trying to incite me because that's why I fucking confronted him about this shit today, because I hadn't even known about the fact that he had complained as soon as I primed it. I'm in here working on the shit, finished priming it, right? And this motherfucker come in the other table in front of me. He just start throwing stuff down on the workbench in front of me. Oh, this nigga right here. He trying to incite me. He know he's made a complaint about me. What he don't know is if I've heard about it or not yet. So he's trying to incite me doing shit right in front of my fucking face. And I got tired of that shit, which is why as soon as he brought his monkey ass back over here doing it a second time, because I didn't respond to him the first time, which is a child tactic. Oh, I didn't get any attention doing that. Let me come back and do it louder. I called my supervisor over and got at his ass and told him, so since you made your fucking complaints, you should stay the fuck away from me while I'm working. You shouldn't set up shop right in front of me. You should probably go somewhere else and work. because it don't make no sense to me if you worried about somebody saying something to your ass to set up shop right in front of their fucking face and start trying to get their attention. You trying to get cussed out so you can have something else to complain about and make another complaint. Fuck out of my face and stay away from me. Act like you got a restraining order. Nah, dude, Scott, I ain't about to. Look, I already got a picture of his ass, and I sent my supervisor the video. The last time I was on call up at this bitch, this motherfucker show up here at 11 o'clock at night looking for me. And I'm sitting right in my car looking like, what the fuck is this nigga doing here this late? And he's sketchy looking around. He looking for my van and shit. And I'm sitting right in my fucking car. And when he pull out, and them headlights panned over my car, and he saw me sitting in there looking at his ass, he acted like he left, and then he came back around the block and pulled up on my car. Like, what, nigga? What do you want? Nothing, I'm just checking on you. I don't need you to check on me. What are you doing here? You ain't on call. I am. Why are you here? The fuck out of here, not out of my face. Yeah, where's the grown-up me when you need it? Hold on, I got you. I got you, Techie. I got you, man. I had to add that to the gosh dang StreamYard clips.
Grow up! Grow up! Grow up!
Told you, I got you. I just don't do it when I'm on my phone all the time because I have to scroll down and get it. But yeah, silly shit. Well, I told him, I was like, okay, if that's the case, then man, I'm gonna start documenting all that shit. Then I'll just start calling on his ass because we can add it up there. Because he says some of the most racist shit all the time. Can't wait to make a call on your ass about that shit. Let you explain it to HR how you talk about it. Since he the only one walk around here stomping around like everybody should be afraid of his ass. Fuck you. I'm not impressed. You got a bad attitude. I ain't got no kind of goddamn attitude. I don't take that shit like that. This ain't my life. It's what I do to get back to my life. Oh, okay, D. Scott. I see what you're saying now. You meant for him to get a hobby like photography. He can go jack off if you want to. Look, man, I don't know what he do. I personally think he a cokehead. And he got some dope hidden around here somewhere. And that's why he always so worried when I'm here. Worried I'm going to find the shit. Nigga, if you got dope here hidden, I don't give a fuck. I don't do that shit. I'm not drinking up here. I don't smoke. And I don't share my personal life with none of these motherfuckers up here. So you ain't got nothing to use. The only thing you can say is, well, I didn't like his tone. You just didn't like a nigga telling you to do something. That's what that was. And I didn't even tell you. I fucking asked you. You didn't like that shit. Because you think I'm supposed to be beneath you. And I'm not. You really realize you're beneath me. Dumb motherfucker. What's that line for an electrician? You ain't too bright. Asshat. But that is why I'm still up late. Because that shit irritated me. Outside of the fact of the conversation with Dr. T. and the brother was on the string, which was really good. It was a really good conversation, and I like having complex thoughts. It's more in keeping with how I like, excuse me, my conversations to go, rather than bitches and bullshit. See that shit? This, I tell y'all, this is the shit the motherfucker hate, right? You can't see it, but these are the shelves I built out of some scrap shit, right? I had a supervisor once, my old supervisor, Rose. She used to have to tell me shit like, don't assume everybody can do what you do. You don't realize what you can do everybody else can't do, right? But one of the things I did was I made these little shells. And these were out of scrap pieces that was cut off and thrown in the garbage. But I made these shelves so when I'm in here working on my desk, I could put my phone up and listen to the Angry Man. Motherfuckers is all pissy about that shit. All pissy. Like I came in here and just said they wasn't about shit. Put stuff up, you can't wait to take it apart. Shit is annoying. Annoying as fuck. But it is what it is. Like they said, there are no small jobs, just small minds. Whatever. I like that. I do need a clear coat on this shit. I wonder if we got some clear. I don't think we have clear. I might have to go buy some clear. Clear coat at one time. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go buy some clear. But I have to do it after I put the tape measure in. I'll put the tape measure in tomorrow. Dude doesn't get the hint to buzz off with your caution tape bordered workbench. There's no hope for it. Aquatechy. That was the funny part when I was thinking of what colors to do it because I knew what the reaction was going to be after I did it and cleaned the paint off of it without saying anything to anybody. Everybody thought I was pissed off, and I was pissed off, but they stayed away. Nobody even messes with this stuff. They don't. So me being an asshole was when I was thinking of what color to paint it. Because mind you, I just stained it white. I was just going to use this other off-white paint I had sitting in my van, right? But then I went over to the shop and was looking for some paint, and we had this traffic light yellow for painting the sidewalks and shit. I said, "Oh, that would be perfect." My asshole juices got flowing. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. So I said, "Yes, I'll paint it yellow and black, like caution. That'll fuck with the psyche." Boy, I engaged my full Mr. Sinister side, like, oh, hell yeah, this will be a good mind fuck right there. Yellow and black, caution tape light. Yeah, that's the ticket. Oh, that was the asshole part of it. And one of my coworkers, he came in and saw, like, why yellow? He's like, everybody taking a huge interest in the workbench that I built. Everybody got a lot of opinions right now. That's it. Why yellow? Because that's the color I wanted it to be. What the fuck does it matter? Damn, dude. So yeah. But when I told my supervisor I was putting the tape down, he was asking what what I was doing. I said, "Oh, well, it's gonna make it like look like caution tape." He's like, "Oh," he laughed. He thought that shit was funny. He thought that shit was funny because it was. It was funny. What was my other coworker said? He's gonna put a big sign in the middle that says "Don't paint on this." I'm like, no, the fuck would I do that? Why would I need to? Everybody knows if you paint a wall or anything, you put down a drop cloth, don't you? Everybody but an asshole who's trying to deface your work. Like an asshole. So yeah, Aquatech, that was part of my master plan. Was so the palm color person, they tend to have an aversion to bright colors. No, I told you he's a dark Italian who look is about as dark as me, but get pissed off if you call him black. What that mean? You got an issue. The one who asked me why it was yellow was, but he cool. He cool. He's fucking. Um, he might be on the spectrum a little bit, but he's cool. Cool enough. You like his games and shit like that. That's what he do. So I ain't mad at him for being who he is. God damn it! I did take that yellow paint back, so I can't clean up these lines. Fucking idiot. But you know how they do. You worked in. You've been a grown man long enough. You know how they motherfuckers be getting down at work. So I told my lady friend about that shit. She's like, "I'm getting upset listening to this shit." I say, "Yeah, well, there it is." Because she is finally quite earnestly, because she's a Asian chick, right? And she asked me quite literally, "It's really hard being a black man, isn't it?" I told her, "Yes, it is very hard being a black man." Because just sharing with her stories, she's really contextualizing this shit now, thinking about it. It's like, you have to deal with that much shit. You have to think about that much shit. Yes, we do. Always. It's never a time that we're not. If we don't have to think about that shit, it's probably what we'd prefer of all this backbiting bullshit. People hating on you for fucking showing up and not being the stereotype that they wanted. I can say with some confidence, I think I'm one of the best techs that they have here. You know, one person that got a problem with me is a motherfucker that don't do half the same shit I do and wouldn't do it. Oh, boy, boy. But anyway, that's an hour of this shit. I probably should get off of here. Um, yeah, what is it? Almost 1:30. Yeah, I need to at least sleep for 4 hours or so. I think my Fitbit died. Oh, it's almost dead. It's almost dead. I wore my Amazon Halo to work, and I forgot to bring the charger. So this motherfucker's about to die. But I have done 30,000 steps today. It's gonna die. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Um, Thanks for listening to my ramble. It is a PMDM, so this is my midnight message to you guys. Suicide for a black man can seem like the answer. It is not an answer. Self deletion is not an answer. And if you want to know how I combat that shit, I refuse to let Motherfuckers have the pleasure of knowing they broke me. I refuse. I fucking refuse. And I know from going through my dark time, and I told this story on Dr. Tiasan about um, I didn't give the full story. Full part of the story was I was really thinking that my life was over. 2013. I was thinking my life was fucking over. I'm standing in the baseball field behind my house in Richmond, my now empty 3 bedroom house where it used to be me, my wife, and my kids. And now I'm the only motherfucker in that house. And it is New Year's, excuse me, is it New Year's Eve, New Year's Day? The next morning. And I'm standing out there in that grass thinking my life is over. And I don't know how to go on, none of that shit. And then the sun came up. And I'm standing out here in the dark in this grass, feeling miserable as fuck. And the grass is frosted over because it's cold as shit outside. And that sun came up, and I watched the sun come up. And I'm watching it, the light start reaching the grass and start warming up the grass and melting the ice that's on the grass. And I start crying. I really did start crying. I thought how pitiful that shit was that I was thinking. And I heard something, which I could say it was a voice, it was God, whatever the fuck it was. And it was simple to say, this too shall pass, right? But the same way that ice was melting on the grass, when that sunlight hit me, I felt it was melting the ice on my fucking heart that I thought was holding me back. And I have a picture of this shit too. I do. I took a picture of it. And I stood there feeling the sunlight on a new day. It was New Year's Day. I wrote a poem about it that same day. And I felt the sun warming my body on a New Year's Day, realizing that it was a new day. Whatever happened yesterday was already behind me. It would not be coming back. And that the new day was here and it was time to move on. It was time to move forward with the new day. And that every new day that came got me further away from the shit that I thought was insurmountable. The other thing that happened that I didn't get to share with Dr. T on this stream was that my son called me. And my son had drove down and had stopped by the house to see me out the blue. I didn't know he was coming, none of that shit. And I asked for my phone, told him I'd be right over. I was over in the park. I'd be right back over. And I took that as a sign. I may not have known at that moment what I was living for, but I understood that I had other shit. And self-deleting was not the option. It would affect people. What would the explanation to my children be on why? How would that affect them? Because it does. It affects them tremendously because they're left with a bunch of questions. And if you know the statistic, parents who commit suicide, their kids have a percentage of how likely they are to do it to themselves. It's a trauma that's passed down. It makes the children depressed. They don't understand. It doesn't matter their age. Not really. So self-deletion for me is not the answer. And fuck anybody who's trying to drive you to that shit. Also, you should work hard. You should take care of yourself as much as you can. Try to live your life in some kind of balance. You can work hard and have decent health, but make no mistake, healthy or unhealthy, your ass is going to go one day. You are. So make hay while the sun is up, but just do it in some kind of balance. And the other shit I shared on here about the work stuff, it's always stressful for a black man. There's always stress out there. But you choose how you respond to the shit. You can let it stress you, or you can handle it. Didn't have a better word for that, but that's pretty much what it is. I handle it. I try to alleviate my stress. And how I alleviate my stress is calling people on their shit when it happens. Because I don't want to be thinking about it later. I like my bullshit up front. No throwing rocks and hiding their hands and running and snitching and bitching behind your back. Fuck you, I know. And now it's all out in the open. So the next thing you say to me better be nothing. Well, if I'm listening, good morning to you. That's right, y'all 3 hours ahead. Y'all already getting up. I'm going to get off of here and take my ass to bed. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully, something I said could help somebody. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you can't. Maybe I was just rambling. It don't fucking matter. I can do that sometimes. I talk a lot when I feel like it. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Oh yeah, to that whole ass motherfucker, suck a dick.